Hello, this is Q Sub, and today I'm going to be reviewing a fragrance from Tom Ford called JAPON NOIR, which was discontinued in April 2012. First released in 2007, JAPON NOIR was billed as a unisex fragrance. However, personally I think it's more masculine, and as this review proceeds, I'll explain a little bit more about that. So the official line from Tom Ford is that this fragrance is enriched with flavors from the past, opening with refreshing bergamot, blended with a spice bouquet, and warms to reveal purple patchouli and Porto Noir accords. Night jasmine, leather, amber, and vetiver add a deeper, sleeker touch. Inspired by the dark brown glass used in apothecary bottles of the past that were traditionally found in perfumieres' ateliers, the decanter is designed to enhance the user's home environment with its pure craftsmanship. So what that's referring to is if you buy the 250 milliliter bottle, it's a really cool shape. It's like a turn of the century, almost like medicine bottle. Real old-fashioned looking. Anyway, the Tom Ford Company goes on to explain the main accords that are listed in JAPON NOIR. And these will be listed in order of prevalence as they're smelled in the fragrance. Number one, they call it animalic. Second would be woody. 3, earthy. 4, leather. Then they mention amber and patchouli again. As mentioned before, it's one of the rarest fragrances that you can get. I have the this 50 milliliter size. 50 milliliter here. It has a very compelling, like a chess piece, like presentation. I don't know if you can see that, but more like a 19th century sort of chess piece. You know, again, really old-fashioned. Upon first application, I'll go ahead and give it a tester here. Okay, upon first application, boy, this fragrance really opens with a bang. And you know, the first 5 minutes are actually, they're almost like too strong. It's kind of off-putting. What I get initially are top notes of, personally, this is my take on it, not the Tom Ford line. But to be honest with you, I get a real denim smell on the top, as well as pine, smoke, and even a little bit of Old Spice. I smell myrrh, which is a sweet-smelling tree resin, and it's just off-putting because it like hits you like a subway station at rush hour. I don't know if you ever smelled those trains when the brakes are really going, but it's just, it has a real blunt, this fragrance has a real blunt top in the first 5 minutes or so. But I've been tinkering around with this fragrance for a while now, trying to figure it out. When you hear people review it, they're sort of mystified by it because it's so unique, and it's really hard to compare it to anything else out there. And personally, I think it was probably discontinued because, you know, when people go to Neiman Marcus and stuff and try it out, it's like it's a really amazing, strong smell. It doesn't really relate to anything else, and like the first 5 minutes, it's kind of off-putting. I don't know what the sales figures are, but I would imagine for most people it's just too exotic and intense in the beginning. It's only after trying it and taking it home that you can fully appreciate it. About 20 to 30 minutes later, however, it becomes a little sweeter, less off-putting. It actually starts to resemble Tom Ford Extreme a little more, mixed almost with persimmon. And I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it, but like, it also smells kind of like a scratch and sniff book, like The Witch's Brew. And I know that might sound nasty, but it's not. It's kind of like a pungent, like woody, kind of salty smell, like slightly incense. You know, again, it's the only way I'm trying to describe the strange smokiness from this cologne. About 1 hour into the application, it really starts to come into its own. It has a very enchanting, manly smell at that point, almost like a millionaire, like Montana rancher kind of guy. It has a hint of leather, slight Old Spice comes back as a mid-note after about an hour. And then it starts to mature even more, warming with a base of kind of holiday warmth, like a soulful, spiced candle you'll have around the holiday season. And it just brings to mind like exotic Mongolian I mean, it might sound funny, but when I try to imagine what this smell is, I think of exotic Mongolian tabernacle spices and gold and all that kind of Three Wise Kings holiday, you know, sense that you could imagine. It brings to mind the great holiday song, "We Three Kings of the Orient Are." That song emphasizes the gift of giving gold. Gold is the metal of royalty. The song talks about frankincense, which is an aromatic oil, and also myrrh, like I mentioned, like it's a sweet-smelling tree resin. You know, I don't get the dominant notes of patchouli that it's billed as. I mean, it's unfortunate because I kind of like patchouli, but through the life of this cologne, I never really pick up on that at all. Not only not as a dominant, but nowhere, not off the top, the middle, or in the base. And there's a little bit of leather. I wouldn't really call it a dominant smell like it's billed as, and a lot of people review it and just say they smell all that leather. Maybe it's my body type or something, but the leather is really more of a really subtle. But you know, they also talk about a strong incense smell. You know, it's not incense like you would think. First of all, that's not a dominant smell that I get out of this. And what I do get from the incense smell is like more of a smoky, kind of old world Asian incense you might get, you know, like in year 1880 or something. It's a very different kind of exotic incense smell, and it's very subtle. I think Tom Ford, when he describes a Pinot Noir scent in this, I kind of understand that, because what I get from this is a sort of fireside cognac vibe, you know, with like a sharp cheese, like a holiday cheese, and a little bit of pumpkin pie scent, like the holiday hearth feeling that this exudes in the middle is really, really very nice. And when it does dry down, it freshens up some with a zesty, like a smoky kind of ink. You hear people talk about the ink smell in this. It's ink, but it's not sour. It's more zesty and smoky. And again, the bass of like a Tom Ford Extreme Accord comes out after an hour or two. It starts to come back again. I don't get any jasmine out of this, which I'm happy about. I'm not a big fan of jasmine. You know, even as a little footnote, I don't pick up jasmine. So overall, this is it's a darkly fascinating, enchanting, very enchanting smell, almost like synthetic wood, if you could try to imagine synthetic wood, or sort of like the rugged mystique of a rocky winter coast in the fog. Believe it or not, about 15 hours later, in the morning it sweetens up for like a final bow, and then it just disappears totally, fades out all at once. Now, I wouldn't spray this on your clothes if you're going to be wearing your jacket or your shirt more than once, because it'll really stick to your clothes. It doesn't stain it, but it's a very strong smell on your clothes. I really think it's better to apply it to your skin. For certain uses, though, it's definitely going to be my go-to fragrance. And that would be like the holidays, like pretty much Thanksgiving through New Year. This is a real fall through winter scent. You know, if I take a trip to like a mountainous area, definitely going to have it then. This would be a great scent for like uncles and older men who are visiting relatives and stuff around the holidays. If you're going to Europe, like taking an old world kind of trip, you know, if you're going to go see museums and like maritime museums and stuff like that, this is a perfect fragrance for that. And or maybe if you're taking a luxury cruise, I've never done that, but for some reason I imagine this would work well. Again, unfortunately, they bill it as a unisex fragrance. I don't get that at all. It's just, it's too darkly intense, intensely masculine. You know, I could almost picture like a real fashionable Japanese businessman after a long day of work in Tokyo, waiting in a hot subway in the summertime, and you know, that a kind of a smell that you get off them. It's not necessarily a bad smell, so it's definitely not a female kind of smell. Now, this is my private 50 milliliter bottle. You'd be hard pressed to find one that's legitimate and whole, and to find one even at that price. Because this is my private collection, I'm not going to be doing a split on this, so please don't ask. The 250 milliliter decanter used to be priced at about $400. If you find one now, I actually have seen one packaged new on eBay. It was selling for $800. Again, this one with the lid on is supposed to look like an old-fashioned chess piece, and I think they really succeeded in that image. You know, the decanter does look like a really old-style perfume bottle, so presentation excellent. This is probably the most unique cologne that I have yet to come across. And I've traveled around the world and smelled some really unique ones. 10 out of 10 for uniqueness. You know, I'm still trying to process how unique this is. I mean, it's like all the imagery that I showed you is just the tip of the iceberg. But it is a very fundamentally a rancher kind of style. Or it can pass for like a stylish Japanese businessman who's kind of stressed out and busy and it's really hot in the summertime. I mean, what can I say? I can go on and on about it, but you know, if anybody else wants to comment, if they own it, if they agree or disagree, that's fine. You know, I welcome comments. Again, this is Q-Sub. Thanks for watching my review of Tom Ford's JAPON NOIR.